Iowa is just one of the many states getting hit by an Arctic blast, bringing life-threatening temperatures. New York and several other states are now under a state of emergency. More than 1,200 flights canceled nationwide as winter weather worsens. Floodwaters are slamming the Northeast, prompting overnight rescues for 20 people in New Jersey. That's where we find CNN's Polo Sandoval weathering bad conditions there in Paterson, New Jersey. And meteorologist Elisa Raffa is in the CNN Weather Center. Polo, you first. What's going on?
You know, Fred, since December, just one wave after another, this weather really has impacted so many people. Earlier this morning, those wicked winds really bringing with it the potential for power outages. But now that the winds have really scaled back, the only threat that really remains, of course, the floods. You mentioned a little while ago the Passaic River here in Paterson, New Jersey. It actually cuts through this community. We see car after car kind of braving some of this ponding on the road here, while others are choosing to just shift into reverse and go the other way. One local law enforcement official here telling my colleague Nicole Grether that it was not as bad as predicted. Nonetheless, they are keeping a keen eye on the river because that is where all of this water is coming from. There's still a projected roughly 2-foot rise in the water, at least in the Passaic River. And this is a body of water that had already been at flood stages for quite some time. And there were concerns that they could potentially surpass what the region experienced last month. Nonetheless, this really is now more a story of inconvenience for so many people. Close to 24 individuals had to be rescued from their homes in and around this region here in the last couple of days. So fortunately, it hasn't gone beyond that. And we should point out that these are regions that are very familiar with the flooding potential of the Passaic. These are low-lying areas that often flood. So it's really fueling some of those flooding frustrations for the people of New Jersey and really surrounding communities that continue to experience these watches and warnings, folks living in and traveling through the region. Back to you.
Yeah, very dicey stuff. Elisa, which regions are feeling, let's say, the coldest temperatures right now?
Yeah, I mean, behind this storm that Polo there is tracking the flooding is the cold air that's coming in behind it. And you've got those temperatures that are going to start to plunge. This is what's left. You've got the lake effect snow that's cutting across the Great Lakes here. The last of the showers cutting through the Northeast. But like he was mentioning, that flood threat continues because we're still watching these rivers as they rise and fall. They're saturated from the last couple of weeks that we've had round after round of heavy rain. Blizzard warnings actually still continue across parts of Iowa, South Dakota, not because we have that much more snow falling, but because we have all of the fresh snow on the ground, plus 45-mile-per-hour gusts. Ground blizzard conditions are possible because the visibility could still drop. A winter storm watch in effect for parts of Arkansas into Tennessee because as this Arctic air comes in, it could come with a punch of snow. Here's the wind chill warning that's in effect for, I mean, just look at it, most of the northern central plains for wind chills as cold as 45 degrees below zero. Frostbite then can happen in 10 minutes or less. As this cold air plunges southward, we're looking at 17% of the lower 48 with temperatures below zero, 80% of us with temperatures below freezing as we go through the week. That many daily records, both for high temperatures during the day and overnight low temperatures at night, could fall. Looking at 250 records are possible as all of this cold plunges through on Tuesday. Here's a look at some of the overnight temperatures for the northern plains, where we'll be sub-zero for the overnight temperatures through, looks like through Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday for a lot of these cities here like Bismarck, Rapid City, Omaha, still at -2 through Wednesday. So it's going to be hard to get above zero for some of these northern plains communities. Now, I do want to point out that this is the first time a lot of this part of the country is even seeing cold so far this winter. See all of these red dots? That's where we've got the warmest winter on record so far from December 1st. And a lot of these areas are top 5 and top 10 for warmest winters on record so far. So that's the difference between weather and climate. We have this cold snap coming in, but it's coming as we've had a pretty warm season so far. Fred.
All right. Elisa Raffa, Polo Sandoval, thanks to you both. Appreciate it. Iowa isn't the only state facing bone-chilling temperatures this weekend. Over 80 million people are under wind chill alerts across central and northwestern U.S. as an Arctic blast hits the country in a very big way. Some regions are all dealing with severe flooding, including Portland, Maine, where the tide reached over 14 feet. a historic high for the second time this week. More than 4,000 flights, in fact, have also been delayed today, and much of that is all because of how this weather is impacting things. Meteorologist Elisa Raffa joining me now live from the CNN Weather Center. All right, so it's tumultuous. It's tough everywhere you look.
Yeah, for the third time this week. Remember, we were talking about a nor'easter this time last week. Oh, this is 3 storms now, just a very active week. This is what's left of that current blizzard that we were tracking for you yesterday. It's pumping lake effect snow across the Great Lakes. There are some showers left over in New England. The flood threat continues on those rivers and along the coast where those rivers are still swollen from all of the other storms that we had this week. It's just been torrential downpour after downpour, and you can see those coastal flood alerts where you still have some of that onshore flow. You see that orange? That's still a blizzard warning in effect for Iowa, not because we're getting additional snow, because the fresh snow that's on the ground will still blow around in 45-mile-per-hour gusts that we still have going on, and that could continue to drop visibility and cause some dangerous driving conditions. A winter storm watch is in effect for parts of Arkansas and into Tennessee, starting to change over to warnings as we could get a punch of snow with all of this cold air that's diving southward. Wind chill warnings are in effect for a lot of the northern and central plains. Wind chills could be as cold as 45 degrees below zero. You can get frostbite in 10 minutes or less with wind chills that severe. We're looking at much of the U.S. will have temperatures below zero. 17% of us will have temperatures below zero. 80% of us will have those temperatures below freezing by Tuesday. That we're looking at 250 daily records that could fall. Record cold high temperatures and record cold overnight low temperatures as we go through the next couple of days. Here's a look at some of the morning low temperatures. Now, these are temperatures, not wind chills. They'll be well below zero from Bismarck, Fargo, Minneapolis. Up in the Dakotas this morning, they already had wind chills at minus 70 degrees below zero. So incredibly cold, extreme cold. And I want to point out that this part of the country, this is the first time this year that they're even seeing any hint of winter cold. We've had the warmest winter so far on record for a lot of these places, including Des Moines. All those red dots that you see, it's been quite warm since December 1st. Fred.
Okay. Elisa Raffa, thanks so much.